They say thunder does not fall in love. It is a physical impossibility. Thunder is a reaction, a violent expression of air, a scream following the jagged light. It strikes, it burns, it leaves the earth scarred, and then it vanishes into the silence of the clouds. But Ogun was never like the other gods. In the high, unseen realms of the Orishas, where lightning is forged in the furnace of the stars, Ogun ruled with a great terrifying grace. He was the master of iron, the pioneer of the forest, the architect of war. His voice did not just speak, it split mountains. His anger didn't just flare, it swallowed entire civilizations. Mortals built shrines to him. They offered palm wine and the blood of the hunt, whispering his name through chattering teeth. They prayed to him in fear. They worshipped his power. But in all the eons since the world was spoken into existence, none knew him. Not until the girl at the edge of the world, whose name was Adeshewa. Adeshewa lived where the rainforest leaned heavy into the edge of a quiet village. It was a place where the wind whispered secrets. She was not a queen, nor was she the most beautiful girl in the land, but she possessed a steadiness, a soul that felt like deep roots. One afternoon, a storm broke that terrified the elders. The sky turned the color of a bruised plum. The goats bleated and ran for cover. The villagers bolted their doors, hiding under mats, praying to Ogun to spare their thatched roofs. But Adeshewa did not run. Ogun, looking down from the heights of the storm, saw her. She stood in the center of a clearing, her arms outstretched. She wasn't defiant, she was receptive. As the rain lashed down, she lifted her face to the lightning, as if she recognized the flash, as if she were welcoming an old friend home. For the first time in all his endless, immortal existence, the god of iron hesitated. He held back the bolt that was meant to shatter the great Iroko tree beside her. Why does she not tremble? Ogun wondered. His voice, usually a roar, was a mere hum of curiosity. Does she not know who I am? He watched her for hours. He watched the rain roll off her skin like silver. And curiosity, among the gods, is the beginning of ruin. The next day, the village was buzzing with the scent of damp earth. A stranger appeared. He was tall, broader than any blacksmith in the region. His skin was the color of midnight, and his eyes were the problem. They didn't reflect the light. They held storms inside them. He wore the simple cloth of a traveler, but he walked like a man who owned the ground beneath his feet. He found Adeshewa by the stream, scrubbing a clay pot. She didn't look up immediately, but she felt the air grow heavy. The oxygen seemed to leave the clearing. "Know you," she said, her voice steady as a rock. Ogun stopped. He had practiced a mortal gait, a mortal breath. "You shouldn't," he replied, his voice like grinding stones. "But I do," she said, finally looking up. She didn't bow, she didn't tremble. "You were the one in the clouds yesterday, the one who spared the tree." Ogun felt a strange sensation in his chest, a flutter. If he had been a man, he would have called it a heartbeat. To a god, it felt like a malfunction. Well, I'm a traveler from the north," he lied. "You are a lie from the heavens," she countered with a small knowing smile. "But you are welcome to my water. You look like you've been burning for a long time." The day stretched into weeks. Ogun did not return to the heavens. The Orishas watched from above, confused, as their general spent his time learning the mundane, beautiful chores of the living. He learned the fragile language of humanity. He learned that Adeshewa liked her palm wine slightly sweet, harvested in the morning. He learned that she hummed a specific low tune when she was afraid of the dark. He learned that she spoke to the wind as if it were a messenger. One evening, sitting under the stars, Ogun looked at his hands that had forged the first blades, hands that had carved the paths of rivers. "I feel like something that doesn't belong to me," Adeshewa whispered, leaning her head against his shoulder. Ogun's chest tightened. The weight of his divinity felt like a laden cloak. He wanted to shed it. He wanted to be the man she saw, not the storm the world feared. Then let me belong, he said. Forget the sky. Forget the iron. Just see me. I see you, she said. That is why I am afraid. For you. The heavens do not ignore betrayal. The balance of the world relies on the gods remaining gods and the dust remaining dust. One night, the sky didn't just rain, it screamed. The Orishas descended in the wind, their voices a choir of tectonic plates shifting. Ogun, master of the forge, you forget yourself. Shango's voice shook the very foundation of Adesewa's hut. You dally with a creature of clay. You are the raw, not the whisper. Return to the heights or face the void. Ogun stepped out into the storm, his eyes flashing with old terrible power. I will not leave her. Then choose, the voices hissed. You may remain with the mortar, but only as one of them. You will lose your iron. You will lose your fire. Your immortality will be stripped like bark from a dead tree. And the price, it is steep. Ogun stood tall. Speak the price. You will live only 7 days as a man. On the sunset of the 7th day, death, the great thief you have avoided for eternity, will claim you. And if you choose to return now, you will forget her. Every touch, every word, every hum. She will be a blank space in your memory. Ogun looked back at the court. He saw Adeshewa through the window, her face pale, watching the gods argue. 7 days of remembering her, Ogun whispered, is what a billion years of forgetting. Day 1, the transition was agonizing. Ogun felt his skin become porous. He felt the cold for the first time. He felt the ache in his joints. But when Adeshewa touched his hands, the warmth was more electric than any lightning bolt he had ever thrown. And by day 3, they walked through the forest. Ogun showed her how to find the veins of the iron in the earth, not as a god, but as a man who knew the earth's secrets. They laughed. They ate roasted yam. For the first time, Ogun felt full, not powerful, but full. By day 5, the fear arrived. Ogun's hair began to silver at the temples. His breath became shorter. He realized that time was a physical weight. He watched the sun set and felt a piece of his soul go with it. By day 6, Adeshewa could not stop crying. She held him as if her grip could anchor him to the world. Go back, she begged. The sun is almost down. Tell them you changed your mind. I will live with the forgetting if it means you will live forever. Ogun wiped a tear from her cheek. You don't understand. This is living. To know the end is coming makes the tea taste sweeter. It makes your voice sound like music. I have lived for aeons at Deshewa, but I have only been alive for these 6 days. The 7th day was the quietest day in the history of the world. The gods held their breath. The birds did not sing. Ogun lay in the grass outside their hut, his head in Adesewa's lap. He was frail now. The god of war was gone. Only a man remained. Adeshewa, he wheezed. I am here, my love. If something remains of me, if the iron in the earth still remembers my name, let it protect you. You are staying, she sobbed. You promised me. I am, he smiled, his eyes dimming. In every storm, in every strike of a hammer, I will be the memory of the man who chose you over the stars. His breath hitched. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in a final bloody red. And then the silence was absolute. The great Ogun was dead. The village expected a funeral, but the gods had other plans. They did not take Ogun's body. They let the earth swallow it. Months later, Adesewa walked to the stream where they first met. She carried a heavy burden, a child whose presence felt like a mountain. When the boy was born, he did not cry like other infants. He did not scream for milk. The moment he opened his eyes, the sky, which had been silent for 9 months, erupted. A single bolt of white lightning struck the ground outside the birthing hut. They named him Oregun, the child of the sacrifice. He grew with the strength of iron and the heart of a mortar. He was the bridge between the terrifying heavens and the fragile earth. They say, to this day, when you hear the thunder roll softly, not the sharp crack of anger, but that long, low rumble that sounds like a sigh, it is Ogun. He is still watching. He is still remembering because